Hey Mini enthusiasts, welcome back. So we're at it again, back on Project Sprout. Hey Mini enthusiasts, welcome back. We're at it again on Project Sprout. So just a quick update from the last episode. So we've done the inner sill repairs. Really pleased with that. Took up the sound deadening. I'm not looking forward to doing the other side. But that's where we are. Next steps. So I need to get this lip off here, which is the old outer sill. So there's a double lip, there's a doorstep, and then there's the sill. So I've got to drill out these spot welds. It's in pretty good condition, this lip. Only a slight bit of rust in between. That might actually help it come apart. But first job we got to do is remove these wheel arches. These are non-standard wheel arches actually. They're like wooden picket arches. Fiberglass, and they've been done in body colour in the past. I don't think they're going to stay on, but I don't know, actually they might clean up and they might actually be quite nice, but they definitely need wider wheels on or fatter tyres because the wheels just sit way too far inside the arches. So bear with me, let me get the camera set up and let's get these arches off and see if there's any horrors hidden behind. I'm sure there won't be. So there we go, that's the arches off, and there's nothing horrible lurking behind. Although at the front it doesn't matter because it's having a new wing and A panel anyway, so even if it was rotten as a peach it wouldn't really matter. On the back here, very good actually, it's nice and clean under there. In fact, I noticed this is an MPI Mini, they only fitted these on the MPIs. It's got that plastic sort of finishing bit between the bumper and the wheel arch. Should imagine they're quite hard to come by nowadays. There is a bit of scabbiness down the bottom here. Don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. Obviously we'll get all the structural stuff done first. The wheel arches themselves, yeah, they've seen better days, but they're fiberglass, so they could just be cleaned up again. But they are quite wide. They're about, I think they're about 3.5 inches wide, and they just don't look right with those narrow tyres on. So I'm not quite decided yet. I've inquired about getting the wheels refurbished, but the thing is with mini wheels, it's only sort of 300 and I think you can get a replica set with tyres for about 330. So by the time you've had wheels refurbished, it's just not worth it. So I've made some inquiries, asked a local company if they'll do me a bit of a discount. Just waiting for them to come back to me now, but as much as I want to keep it original, it may just make absolutely no sense at all to have those wheels refurbed. But either way, the The question is whether I'll get new wheels or have them refurbished. What size tyres do I put back on? So it's got the 145 70/12s at the moment, which are the bog standard tyres. And they do look quite narrow actually. I mean, with no arches on it, they look fine. But I just think 165 60/12s just make the Mini look nicer. So we may well go with them. Maybe let me know what you think down the bottom. Doesn't make a great deal of difference, you know, they're still 12s, but just not sure whether to stick wide 12s on it or standard 12s. So right, next bit, I've got to get this lip off now. Right, so next job is to get that final lip off, drill out the spot welds, which can be a little bit tricky to do. Different methods of doing it. Probably the most common is to use like a spot weld drill. So it's similar to a normal drill bit, apart from the top of it completely flat. Some people centre punch them first. I generally found I've not had to do that. Or I might give it a go this time just to see if it makes it any easier. The hardest problem can be finding out where the spot welds are, but usually once you start cleaning that up, you can see the depressions in the metal. So you usually just go along it with a fibre wheel, and then that shows you the high and the low points. That's a cheap spot weld drill off eBay. I got that a couple of years ago. It's only a cheap one. I reckon that's probably drilled out maybe about 30-40 spot welds, and that's now blunt. You can just still about drill out with it, but so this time round I spent a few more quid and I've bought a Worth. Not sure what it's called. Obviously it's high speed steel, but it's a carbide tipped bit as well, so in theory that should make it much easier to cut and last longer. So twice the price, but might be half the work. So let's see how we get on. sometimes you just have to know when to stop. So I think now's that time. I've hurt my wrist, so I'm really struggling. I keep slipping with a wire wheel and drill bit and scratching the side of the door. I've got to the point now where I can no longer see where the spot welds are, just because it's a bit rotten. So I think that's enough for today. If I carry on, I'm just going to end up wrecking something. As you might have seen when doing this, this is quite weak once you take that lip off. So you're sort of hammering it about, and I'm just conscious of bending it out of shape. So sometimes it's better just to take a breather, give up for the day, come back to it tomorrow. Right guys, I just wanted to share this with you. So like I say, this is a boring and horrible job, and like you might have seen just a minute ago, I hurt my wrist, so I had to give up for the time being. And I was just really making a mess of this bit here, just getting frustrated with it. Sometimes when it gets like that, it's just better off just to take a breather. So the problem I've got here is, well, I'm not going to show you because the light's shining on it. Along the top, along the front half, you can see where all the spot welds were, but from about here backwards, it's a bit rustier. You can't really see where the spot welds are, so it's really difficult getting it off. I've got this tape here actually just to stop me scratching the door, because I was slipping with various different tools. So whether it will or whether it won't, I don't know. But what I found really sort of easier way of doing this, where you can't actually see where the spot welds are to drill them, because it's got this lip still on there, which with hindsight is a really good idea now. What it allows you to do is go along with a thick angle grinder blade like that up against the lip and just thin the metal on the bottom part, and by thinning it you can then just go along and chisel it out quite nicely. So there we go, that's a little tip for you. Hope it saves you a bit of hassle. Right, there we go, so that's the lip off all the way at the bottom. I've got to say, it was not easy to do, really wasn't. It's quite satisfying to get it all off in one bit though. But it was quite difficult towards the back just because it was really rusty. So we've only got one lip there now. I've got some holes just where it's torn the metal, but I'll be able to sort them out. It's all in etch primer now, ready for the new Sill. The only thing I have done is this Sill slinger bracket at the back here. I've just cut the bit off here. It doesn't serve a purpose, that it's on there for when they manufacture the body shells. I think it holds it down to the production line or something like that. There's one at the back, there's one at the front there. I was really just leaving it on there for originality, but basically what I needed to do was get inside of here to remove the old bit of Sill, just because the new one slots inside and slots between the heel board and the inner Sill, that rear floor pan. So I've opened that up a little bit at the back there, got the old bits of Sill out. I should be able to slide it in, but like I say, with the slinger bracket in place, I couldn't get in around the back of there. So like I said, it doesn't really serve a purpose anymore, so I've just taken it out. Just some questions for viewers. So someone asked about these plugs here, so I just poked that one out. There's one there, there's one there, square holes. They're just kind of access holes for wax oiling, I guess. And there's one up inside the door bin there as well. And this rear corner here, I was quite surprised, that looked really rusty, but I just rubbed that back and it's just surface corrosion really, so nothing too bad. But it will mean I'll have to paint that rear quarter. That's it for the moment really. I've ordered the new bits, which should be here any day now, and then I can start putting it all back together again. But pretty pleased with that so far.